Southampton are without their key midfielder Matthew Oakley, who's injured his knee and won't play again for the rest of the season. The Norwegian international Joe Tessem comes in for him. Tessem we expect to play on the left of midfield, with Rory Delap moving into the centre. The only other change is in defence, where Klaus Lundikvan returns after injury at the expense of the Moroccan international Taha El Khalej.
Oh, we watched him at the beginning of the month, didn't we, at Blackburn Rovers, and they actually gave a very good performance that evening, passed the ball well. The only thing I thought they had missing was a little bit of a threat in the final third.
Everton will have to do without their new captain and leading goal scorer Duncan Ferguson for the rest of the season, as he serves a 3-match suspension for his recent sending off against Bolton. But Kevin Campbell returns from injury to take his place today, and he'll be alongside teenager Nick Chadwick in attack. The defence is the same that let in 2 against Leicester last week. Goalkeeper Paul Gerrard continues in place of Steve Simonson, who's now injured. But there's one change in midfield, where Lee Carsley comes in for Nicholas Alexanderson, who woke up this morning with a back problem.
Well, we talked about Everton at the top, didn't we, about the fact that they are scoring more goals these days, but they are conceding goals. When you look at the 2 goals they conceded against Leicester last week, they were very, very sloppy indeed. I'm sure David Moyes will be making sure and telling his defenders to focus and concentrate and not to give away the goals that they have been conceding of late.
So the next 90 minutes will be crucial to their immediate futures, although today's results, if they've had time to scrutinise them, are probably more or less what they would have wanted to Arsenal. Everton it is who get us underway. Steve Watson back for the last few games after an ankle problem, and the ball over the top immediately finds Chadwick.
You normally get it in a bottle, I think. It's called a pill.
Clearance by David Weir in this scrappy little period of play has, strangely enough, lifted the crowd, who are starting to believe that Southampton are getting on top. But Everton have probably had the better of things for most of the half. Delap's throw. Away again by Weir. Now Svensson. Going to get to Bridge. Haas. Stubbs finding Campbell with the clearance. How about the Everton man? Here's Tessem. Bridge. BT and Delap, far post.
As David Moyes has turned down to remonstrate with the referee's assistant on that far side. He's not happy with a challenge from James Beattie. Felt his side should have had a free kick.
I have to agree with him as well. That was my first thought. Here's Campbell. On to Watson. Chance here. Goal! Steve Watson gives Everton the lead just before half-time.
Well, I've got to say, on the balance of play, Everton deserve that, Alan. And we've seen Steve Watson play as a centre-forward this season. But I tell you what, this is as cool and as calm a finish as you'll get in the Premier League. He just nicks the ball over the goalkeeper, Paul Jones. A fabulous little pass from Kevin Campbell. No one really tracks the run of Watson. Whether that should have been Paul Williams, not quite certain. But I tell you what, for a right back, it's a fantastic finish.
Tessem gives it straight to Campbell. Chance on here. Watson is forward, and Watson has scored! Steve Watson for Everton. And it all stemmed from a Southampton mistake. Joe Tessem inadvertently playing it into the path of Campbell. Watson continued his run, and that's a really tidy finish from the fullback. Well, if Everton were edging towards guaranteed survival, that's another big step in the process. Steve Watson's 3rd Premiership goal of the season. And a very neat take, and well, a roll of delight.
I'm sure he would have still liked the services of Duncan Ferguson. Ferguson, of course, getting sent off a few weeks ago.
No time for heroics. Campbell still trying to muscle his way in. Well, what a bizarre moment that was, and what poor defending by Southampton.
Well, it's Anders Svensson here, really does drop Lundek, Vaughan and Williams right in the mire here. You know, I talked about really how ineffective he's been. There you can see it's a daft little pass to play. And Kevin Campbell just keeps going and very nearly gets his reward. But I tell you what, Everton have got their reward. An excellent 3 points for them and safety.
A well-deserved 3 points too, and David Moyes will be just as delighted about the clean sheet, because remember, in his previous 6 games, they've let in 18 goals. The home fans are not happy at all about their performance today, but they've surely got to be satisfied overall about the effect Gordon Strachan has had since he came here. And although they've been overtaken now in the league table by Everton with 42 points, it's very hard to see Southampton being anything other than safe. With 43 points, David Moyes has done the first and most crucial part of the job that he was brought in from Preston North End to do, and that is to ensure Everton's safety. And yet another season, it'll be a 49th consecutive season in the top division. Only Arsenal have been at the top longer than that. Mathematically, they could still be overtaken, but that's highly unlikely. And in fact, if Ipswich don't win at Highbury tomorrow, Everton are safe.
Well, they can relax a little bit now, Everton. And thanks to this goal in the first period, it's a fabulous goal as well to win it for the visitors. And it's a strike by the right-back, Steve Watson. Well, what's he doing there? He's surprised. Perhaps his teammates are. But they've given a very professional performance. Southampton were poor, it's got to be said. Gordon Strachan will be bitterly disappointed.
So victory for Everton, and the man who got the winning goal, Steve Watson, along with Scott Gemmell, are talking now to Dave Jones.
Scott, a third away win of the season. Is that the one that makes you safe?
Hopefully, yeah. I don't know what the rest of the results were today, but we just wanted to concentrate on getting a good away win, and hopefully that's exactly what we've done today.
It was a pretty tight game today. Why do you think that was?
Probably because of the situation we're in, you know. We know that we've not been brilliant away from home, and we tried to make sure we were tight at the back and get a goal on the break, and that's what this man did.
How key was that midfield battle that you were involved in, though?
Yeah, I think it's always a very important part of the game. If you can get on top, then usually that means your side are on top, and I think we had the better of it today.
For you, Steve, you scored the goal. First of all, what were you doing there?
I don't know, I thought I was still playing up front, obviously. I never got one chance like that when I played up front. I just followed my pass, to be honest with you. The gaffer encourages that, and Kev played a great ball in, you know, it was perfect for me, and just had to scoop it over with my swinger, and luckily for me it went in.
You've always fancied yourself as a centre forward, haven't you, Steve?
Well, maybe I used to, but after my performances this season, I'm happy at right back.
5 wins out of 7 under David Moyes now. What do you think the difference has been?
I don't think there has been something that you can put your finger on. You know, I think the team have had a few players come back from fitness, and we just had a bit of a run at, you know, look at the ball. A lot of hard work as well.
I think you're in the inter-toto position now, Steve. Does that mean summer holidays might be cancelled?
Well, actually, I'm not having any. My wife's giving birth in the middle of the summer, so I'm staying at home all summer, so it does make a lot of difference to me. But you know, it's a route into Europe, and everybody worth the salt wants to play in Europe, and we're no different. So we'll get back. Hopefully, we'll be in the Toto Cup, and we'll get back, and it'll be competitive games as well before the start of the season, which is important. It might give us a better start to the season.
Well done today, guys. You got the goal, but Scott's our man of the match. So if you could do the honours for us, Steve.
Well done, Scotty. Thanks very much.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well, this one tonight was a tough game, you know, maybe not as exciting as the others we've been involved in, but we were due a 1-0 win, and thankfully it was tonight.
You can concentrate on next season now, can you?
Well, that certainly, as far as I know, makes us safe, so it feels very good. That was the first objective when I came here. The players have done fantastic. Everything we've asked of them they've attempted to do, so all credit goes to them.
What pleased you most about this performance today?
I think probably keeping a clean sheet, but you know, where football's been, I was nearly going to say exciting, but we've been involved in a lot of good games, scored some goals, you know, good for the supporters. Today it maybe wasn't the way, but you know, the points for us was important, just to make sure we're positioned in the Premiership was assured.
And was that goal from a surprise source as far as you're concerned?
Well, it's been strange. We've been scoring goals from quite a few different areas, and I mentioned it, I think, in the programme last week, that it's great that we get goals from every area, and I thought it was a wonderful finish from Steve when he got through.
We did, of course, hand a start to Nick Chadwick today, but he didn't last long. What's the story with him?
Well, he got with a collision with the goalkeeper. You'll tell me better if it was a penalty kick or not. But the boy tried to get there in front of the goalkeeper. I think he did so, and the goalie's caught. I don't think there was any malice in what the goalkeeper done. But he's got a badly sprained ankle, I think. But we'll get to X-ray tomorrow to see that there's no further damage.
And young Wayne Rooney, 16-year-old, I don't think you've ever seen anyone warm up so vigorously trying to catch your eye. Were you tempted to throw him in?
Yeah, he's a smashing talent, but I've said all along we'll try and protect him, we'll use him at the right times. Part of his education is coming to these games and watching how the first team players prepare and handle these games. So hopefully today he'd have got good experience and earned himself a win bonus as well.
You had a 17-year-old on the bench as well, the goalkeeper. Is youth a big part of what you see as Everton's future?
Well, I think every club would like young players that are pushing to get into the first team, and we've got one or two who are doing that, and we hope to have more in the future.
Can you confirm, David, that you're going to be chasing an Intertoto place for next season?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we want to finish as high up the league as we can, and I think we've got 43 points now, and my job's to try and win the next 2 games, and I think if we win them, I think we would get that, so that would be great.
So you're prepared for a short summer holiday then?
Well, it doesn't really matter. It's a longer holiday than normal this year with the World Cup, so the holidays they're important, but
from the player from the northeast.
The time to reflect. Has it been everything that you thought it would be?
I think so. I think it's been a bit of a roller coaster right from the start, and but a good roller coaster. Most of it was going up the way rather than down the way, so I can't complain.
Let's just take you back to your first day with Everton Football Club. I still can't think of a better phrase than whirlwind. You were whisked in, endless press interviews, and then virtually straight into the dressing room for the Fulham game.
Yeah, prior to it, I had no sleep hardly for 2 or 3 days because I had been doing quite a few games for press and I've been on the road. There'd been a lot of speculation regarding this as well, and then when I actually got to the press conference on the Thursday night, it was mad for a few hours. Back home and then up to take the training on the Friday morning, and before I knew it, in the dressing room, sort of getting involved for the Fulham game.
And the reception from the Evertonians when you were introduced to the crowd before that Fulham game is something I know that you'll cherish forever.
3 times, but I'll certainly always remember that day. That'll go in amongst all those things the day when I walked out at Goodison.
3 points from your first game. You're back at home Saturday night. Could you believe it had only been 48 hours?
Oh, it was great. It was a great feeling when you can go home sort of satisfied with your day's working. Like everybody else, I think the first thing you think about, come on, let's go home and get a couple of drinks and get out. I went home and fell asleep in the settee. I was knackered, so that was the way it ended. But probably I was pleased it ended that way, and it was a nice feeling waking up on the Sunday morning.
Now, very quickly, it went from looking over our shoulder at the relegation places to looking above us towards the Intertoto places. I know you were disappointed not to make the Intertoto, but it's a case for sure of objective achieved in that we're still in the Premiership.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you had said to me, we'd like you to qualify for the Intertoto when I first took the job, I'd have said, don't be daft, let's just try and get safe. When I got the job, I was looking around to see where am I going to get these points from, and obviously we've done that. The players responded really, really well, and we got it. Yeah, there was a disappointment at the end because we had a chance to beat Blackburn at home to go 10th, and it would have been a great thing to have gone 10th before we went to play Arsenal in the last game of the season, and unfortunately we just slipped away a little bit. But that's been the nature of the Premiership. The team's probably in the middle to bottom half all season.
When you came to Everton, you had 9 games to go. Did you always look upon it as a period of stability, and then after that, during the summer, let's start thinking about progression then?
I did think that if I could get through, then don't change too much, just come in and just try and move things on slightly, but then obviously try and take the club forward during the close season if we can, or start to put some foundations in where we think that could start happening. And we're in the process at the moment of looking towards that, but it's not easy, and it's going to take a lot of patience from supporters, but I think the Evertonians, what I've noticed at the moment, I think if they can see what the manager's trying to do, maybe it doesn't always work, and I think in the past they'd be the first ones to admit that maybe some of the directions they've gone in the past haven't worked, and I think that now we need a period where we can try and develop some of our own young players and bring them into the team. if we bring young players to the club, that they're given a time to settle and develop, because if you don't have that base to work from, you're always going out into the market to sign players. And let's be fair, there's been a lot of players come and gone at Everton recently, and a club like this who haven't got bundles and bundles of cash, the money we do have, we have to spend very carefully now. I'm enjoying every minute I've been at Everton. I've said, and I really mean it, that the biggest strength of this football club since I've been here is definitely their public. Their public is the strength. There's no question, because their team isn't as good as what their public support is. Their club hasn't been run as well as what the support are. So the supporters are the strength here, and there's a lot of managers will say these things, and there's a bull with a word after it, which managers would say, but in this case it isn't. This is from the heart. This is what I feel. I think that the public here are excellent, and I hope that in some way we can repay them. But obviously I'm not daft. I know that we have to get results, and we need to try and do it the right way. But I do think that the supporters will realise that there's been pain. There'll probably be a little bit more pain in the future to come before we start making progress.
A season of change then for Evertonians, full of the usual twists and turns. But perhaps this season ends with a new era of Everton successes lying ahead, with a manager hungry to prove himself on the Premiership stage in the seasons to come.